You know, I want to live in a Hallmark movie. But instead, I'm living in a reverse harem anime. But in this anime, all the boys want to fuck each other. Let's talk about it. I think that was good. Hey, you can't drink that. Hello, and welcome back to another Tea Talk, where we sit down, have an age-appropriate drink, and we detox over some Tea Talks. I had to fix some setups, so if it looks different, that's why. Okay, so before we tackle the subject that is my life replicating a slice of life harem anime, let me tell you about some discoveries I made this week. So, my good friend James and I were hanging out in the Korean eatery one afternoon, and he goes, "Hey, you should take the Myers-Briggs personality test." If you don't know what the Myers-Briggs personality test is, it's, and I quote, "an introspective self-report questionnaire indicating different psychological preferences and how people perceive the world and make decisions." That took far too many takes than it needed to. If you're interested in taking the test, I'll link it down below in the description, and you can take it after you finish watching this video, because right now we're having a one-on-one. I'm really enjoying this personal time that we're having. I really want you to take the test and learn a bit more about yourself, but like right now, it's just you and me. Cool. So you see, in the moment, I didn't really want to take the test. I had already taken it before, and I got an Infj, or the protagonist. So I was already pretty happy with that result, but James loves to psychoanalyze me and our mutual friends. So I figured that I would go along with his chaotic need to stir the pot, and who knows, maybe I'd learn something new about myself today. So after a 15-minute trip into my brain, James and I discovered the truth. I'm not actually ENFJ protagonist anymore. Oh shit. I'm the advocate, or the INFJ. So the only letter that has changed is the E, and it changed to an I. So INFJ stands for introverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. Very fitting. So basically what that means is I'm no longer as extroverted as I used to be. This actually makes a lot of sense when I look back onto it. In high school, I was quite the little spitfire. I ran multiple clubs. I was the lead in the school musical. I ran choir. I was involved in all types of social groups. I did it all. I was very, very busy every minute of high school. But, you know, since going to college, I've chilled out tremendously. I keep a small group of friends. I don't go out much, and I prefer to be alone. If I do go out with friends or to a party, I'm still very extroverted. I love to talk and speak and make connections. It's a great time. But it does take a greater toll on me personally and on my energy bank than it would, say, when I was 16. One thing that I did find really interesting from this test, and it kind of boosted my ego, it's that only 1% of the world's population is INFJ, making us the rarest personality trait. So I will be writing that little nugget of self-pride for the rest of the week. You know, sometimes you just want to feel a little special. All right, moving on. Okay, so fun fact about me, and you can choose to believe this or not, I'm actually a second-degree black belt. Yeah. I know it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell from my tiny frame and my very rather submissive personality, but I am. Here's some pictures for proof, if you didn't believe me. I used to travel all up and down the East Coast. I was training, teaching, performing, and competing in national tournaments in traditional Korean martial arts. And I like to think that I was pretty good at it too. It's something that I take very great pride in, especially because I am half Korean myself. it's my one outlet to physically express myself through my culture. But I did have to take a hiatus when I was 16. See, I had injured my back pretty badly back in a sparring match, and it left me physically limited for the rest of high school. Even now, at 22 years old, my back isn't fully healed. I have to sleep on like a special mattress. I have to take it very easy when I lift things, and I have like constant back aches. It's gotten better, but that is, that's what happens when you're in a contact sport. So after the injury, I spent a lot of my days in the studio teaching. But behind the scenes, when I wasn't teaching, I was facing a lot of discrimination as a young woman. So I was facing a huge amount of disrespect that really no one should be facing, especially a young 16-year-old injured girl. So after that, I left. But in the past months and in growing age, I decided that I would come back full time and train alongside my dad. It's been great training again. And so far, the experience of training under someone else's knowledge has actually been really, really nice. The transition into physical training hasn't been as difficult either as I had expected, especially being that I hadn't trained in over 7 years? And with my back problems. But it is still challenging enough where I can start to see improvements. My return to the martial arts realm as a whole, however, that's been pretty bittersweet, to say the least. Yes, I love to be back on the mat. It's fantastic. I cannot describe it. The feeling of that adrenaline rush, the sense of routine, it's so familiar and nostalgic to me. It's wonderful. It brings me so much joy. It's really nice. But, even amongst all of that, there's this underlying tone and feeling of pain and hate. So I grew up around martial arts. Even before I was formally introduced into a studio, I was learning things from my dad at home to hold my own. So I grew up in a studio, and I was trained the old school way. The old school way is what you would imagine. Training in a hot studio, doing nothing but conditioning exercises and basics all up and down the floor for 3 hours every day. And even when I got home, I was reviewing what I learned and I was doing stretches to improve my reach and flexibility. I was like your white suburban Karate Kid. That's the best way I can put it. That was all that I knew. And it was something that I could take. But I knew that one way of learning didn't apply to everyone else's style or ability of learning. So I could take brutal hits. I could take the brutal hits and the physical discipline and the harsh criticisms because I'm just very submissive and content and a disciplined person. But I knew that a lot of my peers and my eventual students wouldn't last long with that kind of teaching or relationship or treatment in martial arts. So when I earned the right to teach, when I got up in rank at a very young age, I taught with a lot of compassion and patience. So yeah, it's a very bittersweet relationship. There aren't a lot of females in teaching or leadership roles in martial arts because of how hard the old school glue has stuck. I remember having to spar 15-year-old boys at national tournaments at the age 13 because there were no other girls that matched my age or rank. I'm not really complaining. I'm not complaining about that, for the record, because I could hold my own pretty well. I'm just hoping that since my absence from the martial arts world and community, that there has been some sort of shift into a new era of equality. The people that I train with now are very understanding of my hesitation to return. But even better than that, they respect my word and my person purely off of my ability and my skill, and just because that's just common courtesy. That's what you should be doing. And it doesn't seem like a hassle to them either. It just comes naturally, you know? It just comes more naturally than you think. Okay, all right, okay. Now, we can talk about what you've all been waiting so patiently for. Let's talk about my harem lifestyle. Okay, so let me just lay down a few things for you. So 12 out of my 9 friends are dudes. Out of all 9 of those boys, I'm the only female in that friend group. The rest of those 4 friends are female, and every single one of them, every single one of them, every precious fucking thing that they are incredibly gorgeous. Like, it baffles me. It truly baffles me how I just attract the most splendid women. I don't understand how lucky I got. But in short, they're all gorgeous. That's all that you need to really know right now. I'm so gay. With all that said, I have landed myself the protagonist role in my very own romance slice of life anime. So before you start making your own headcanons, let me just give you the synopsis of what this slice of life anime entails. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? It reads, and I quote, an androgynous 22-year-old college student has their world turned upside down when they reconnect with their childhood friends back home. All grown up, this friend group has to navigate through the troubles of their romantic feelings. Not for the protagonist, but for each other. That's right. In this anime, the main character, which is me, not the romantic interest, not one bit, but rather, I just get to sit there on the side and watch my friends get it on. It's disgusting. Every single time I enter a Discord call with all my male buds, they are quite literally sucking each other off. I do actually find this incredibly funny and incredibly ironic, because the stereotype of the female in the all-male group is that the female is the one getting it on. But in actual reality, in my reality, all my male dudes are rubbing each other off in the daddy's chair Discord spot. With all that above said and done, none of my friends, male or female, are interested in me like that. And I am totally chill with that. Like, they're my friends. They're my friends. So, you know, if they want to leave me alone in Gen Chat while they harem in daddy's chair, I can't stop them. I cannot stop them. I've tried. They cannot be stopped. They are such a force to be reckoned with, a machine of war. Well, I'm out of tea to drink, and I'm out of tea to spill, and I really have to pee. Thank you all so much for tuning in and hearing about my week. I really much enjoyed your company. This was a great time. This was wonderful. Let me know down in the comments below about your Myers-Briggs test. Let me know. I want to hear about it. Was it accurate? Did you find something new about yourself? Also, let me know if you had a title name for my anime life. I'm thinking, it's a working title, but just hear me out. I'm thinking something along the lines of Harem Leader, The Odd Life of Sue. I don't know. It's a working title. If you liked watching this video, make sure you click that like button, and you might as well hit that subscribe button to see more from me. And those buttons are so close together, you know, you might as well. It'll save you some time later, I promise. With that said, I'm Sue Perspective, and it was nice having tea with you.